Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I'm going to share with you a really fun video. This is the tutorial for a scrapbook layout that I made using the new Warm Breeze collection by Craft a Clock. And I made this as a creative team project for them, and I just love the way it turned out. But this video is more than just a tutorial. So first I'm giving you a look at the layout as it's done. But it started with an inspiration that I got just from seeing the paper itself and the new embellishments. Look at those little cardboard tags and the new embellishments. I was doing an unboxing video for Craft a Clock. And when I saw this paper, I just all of a sudden busted into an inspirational just mumbo jumbo, just jabbering about what I wanted to do with the layout. And so I want to play that again, just that little clip, and then I'm going to show you how I actually made the layout based on my mumbo jumbo inspirations that just came just instantaneously from seeing the paper. So yeah, look how cute that is with the little corner pocket. Let's take a look back at the unboxing video when I first saw this paper.
And the hot air balloons. I want to make a layout so bad. I want to make a layout so bad right this minute. I could see it perfectly in my mind. On this, oh my gosh, as soon as I see it on this one, I want to cut a hole right, this, I'm just saying this right off the top of my head, okay? I want to cut a hole right here, a square. Like maybe a 6x6 square, right? Right out here, take this piece out. Then I want to take like this piece, take this, cut like an 8x8 or maybe a 7x7 square, tear it around the edges, put it right over top of the hole, okay? Remember, then I'd have this hole here. I want to fussy cut out the hot air balloon because then this would have, see how this would be? With the hot air balloon here and the square that would be torn, and then I put this hot air balloon right up to the top going off the page, and then I know there's extras to cut somewhere with the rest of this because it's double-sided. I knew it was going to be double-sided. And what's on the back of this? Okay, then I'd use the back of this to, I don't know, something somehow. Maybe do more circles because it's got kind of like a round circle thing. And I'd put like a circle maybe just like with my circle punch here, and maybe one more just here, just for because. And then I'd cut butterflies from something because I'm sure there's butterflies coming, and add butterflies in there and have enough for a photo. And what happened to and then where are those cardboard cutouts that I had? Do you remember? They're buried. They're buried, folks. I can't find them. But I remember the chipboard cutouts. We go like just a few of them. And then the junk journal things. I might have one that holds like right down in this corner. Of course, I cut that strip off. Maybe one in this corner that holds a couple journaling pockets. And then call it a day. I'm going to leave those out. I'm going to leave them on top, actually, because I think I want to do that. I just talked through my whole project.
So that was the original thought process, and here's how I did it. Now I used a 6x6 paper collection that I had also in the box with the supplies, and use that as a template to trace the 6x6 square. And I'm just going to use my T ruler and an X-Acto knife to just cut that out. And I'm not going to be really too particular about that. I think I cut a little bit crooked there, but it's not going to matter because I'm going to cover that up anyway. The important part was to have the hot air balloon and also just enough of the paper that I could, use it for another project or use it to cut the circles out. And then once I got that out, just out of force of habit, I think I go through and erase the lines, which is funny because you would never see those pencil lines anyway, regardless. But I I just wondered, when you all are scrapbooking or card making, do you ever just, when you see some paper, do you ever just totally envision the entire project just beginning to end? Just beginning to end. And, I don't make a lot of layouts all exactly the same. It's not like that. But I, I just saw the layout. So I suppose that's the benefit of having the camera running when you get those inspirations. Sometimes you don't always have that luxury, I guess. So here I'm cutting the 8x8 square out of the other sheet. I think that is sheet 4 of the pack. The packs are really nice. They come in, it's the 12x12 collection, and there's 6 sheets that come in there. Plus on the back of the front page of the packaging, they also have like just extras to cut that you can fussy cut out. Now, depending on when you are watching this video, you can check in the description box for a link to purchase this Warm Breeze paper collection in the Sandpaper Road shop in the USA. Truth be told, if you live outside of the USA, it's probably going to be more cost effective for you to get it directly from Craft O'Clock in Poland. I mean, it might not, but just shipping in general, as close as you can get to your own region, is going to be best. It might be cost effective for you to do it from Sandpaper Road, but the links are below. Now here I tore around the outside edges, and I'm just folding it up just a little bit. This part of the video, as I was watching it back, it seems to really take a long time, and I sped up the video like double time, and I still couldn't believe how long I spent just trying to fold that up. But the paper it's really high quality cardstock pattern paper, 250 GSM. That's pretty thick. And so it's not just going to be flimsy and rip. You try to do this with a thin paper, you risk having it rip. And I have done this technique before with other papers, and it rips, and I just think, oh, okay, that's just normal. But this is a really high quality paper. So now I'm using a Nuvo Deluxe adhesive for my liquid adhesive. If you're trying this technique, I find it helpful to just, before I glue it down, just to trace where it's going to go and then add glue around the perimeter there of the open hole. I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to do this before and didn't think this through all the way. Put liquid glue or double-sided tape, just clear on the back of that torn square, and then just, for some reason, I just forget that it's a hole, and so then I've got stickies like on the back, and it's really annoying. But this technique just keeps the back smooth, so you don't have any sticky on the back. I'm using I just keep like a cloth, just a cloth, like a rag there on my table. And that's really helpful for helping to you could see I'm just kind of pushing up against what I already started. I like that look a lot. Look at it. It looks good. If you didn't want to do that tearing, or if you didn't want to do that with the rag, just like pushing up the edge, you could probably also add some ink to the edge, and it would give that a nice look as well without all that extra effort. So now I'm just cutting out that hot air balloon. I'm really just doing everything that I said I saw in my mind when I initially saw the paper. I think I'm going to start to do that more when I do unboxings, because it happens a lot more often than I say that it happens. I think this is the first time I actually shared an inspiration out on camera. But I think I'm going to do that more often because not only does it help me remember, but I like this being able to go back and make the thing that I was originally inspired by. That looks good. And it's nice because it's proportionate because it came from that base paper. Now I'm using some scrap pieces of cardboard. Honestly, it's like I don't even know if it's like the back of a paper pad or cereal box or just really nothing special, honestly. I'm just propping it up just a tad. That hot air balloon, just a tad. You could use double-sided foam if you wanted. I even had some double-sided foam, but the cardboard was sitting right there on my table, and I thought, oh, I'll just use that. I like to do that sometimes. I really don't have a preference. It's just kind of whatever I reach for first. Well, no, I take that back because sometimes if you're trying to glue or adhere and like a paper element to a page, and do you ever notice sometimes if you use a double-sided foam and the paper is sort of thin, then it tends to kind of, I don't want to say warp, but it doesn't have a good solid look to it. So sometimes I reach for cardboard when I want to support the paper a little bit better than the foam. And again, just liquid glue. That Nuvo Deluxe adhesive though is really good glue. It's probably definitely in my top 5 favorites. So I put that going right up the top of the page. I love that. It looks exactly good. Now these are just some circle dies that I had. And I'm going back through. This is the scrap of the balloon and the scrap of the 8x8 paper, and I cut out some circles. Now, if you're trying to recreate this look yourself and maybe you don't have circle dies, I'm just showing you what I had left over. But maybe if you didn't have circle dies, but maybe you have like a glass from the cupboard, or maybe you have a roll of double-sided tape. You could trace the roll, or maybe you even have a circle template or something, but you could just trace it with a pencil and then cut it out. That looks really, really good. I like it. Now for these circles, I really didn't have much of a plan. I think in my actual inspiration, I was going to use the other side, the dark pink side, but I don't know. I just, when I got them down on the page, I really, really liked the circles a lot, but I didn't want too much attention on the circles. I wanted it to be just sort of something you saw maybe after the fact, or just, not something that was like I didn't want your eye to draw right to that. So that's why I used the lighter pink side. And I'm never afraid to just cut a circle in half or cut an embellishment in half to fit what I'm trying to do on a layout. And before I cut that big circle, I wanted to see what it was going to look like as if I cut it. So I tried to just put down a piece of cardboard there, and I didn't really like that look like that. I'm glad I did it that way, because if I would have cut it, then it would have been like, oh well, then that looks good. I really like how the circles they go along with that balloon image. You've got that balloon with that rounding top, and I like having just a few circles there to continue that rounding image. So now I'll just take some time and glue these down. And usually I use just an acrylic block or something to lay on top of it when I'm using a wet glue, and then I can just keep moving. If you don't have a, see how that looks with the dark pink? It just looked like too much. It would have made your eye go right to it, and I didn't want to do that. Now, if you don't have acrylic blocks, it really doesn't matter what you use. Just a object that's kind of heavy. You could use your cell phone, actually, or if you have a book nearby. Sometimes I use my paper trimmer. Like I have a Creative Memories, just a small paper trimmer, and I'll lay that on top. Yeah, this whole layout didn't take very long at all. Probably the hardest part was trying to create it without having my pictures be in there, because I knew the pictures I wanted to use. Sometimes I make layouts and really I don't have any pictures in mind at all. I just like to make the layout, and then when pictures come up in my life later, I just plunk them down on the layout that I've already made. But this one, I knew the pictures I was going to use, so I was trying to trying to work around that. Now here, these are new. These are the junk journal extras to cut, and they come with lots of neat. It's like corner pockets and embellishments, tags. There's even some quotes. Like I said, you can check out the links below to learn more about this paper. I love being a part of the Craft O'Clock creative team. They're such generous people, and the products are just so high quality. So I'm scoring. I'm using my scoreboard here to score before I fold where the little envelope will go. The little corner pocket. They make this really easy. This is, like I said, I don't know when you're watching this video, but as of the filming of this video, these corner pockets and the junk journal sets are new for Craft O'Clock. And I have totally done this the long way around before, just trying to measure, cut, fold, do all this without the pre-cut pocket. It is a pain, and this makes it just super, super easy. Look at that. I'm even just tucking it right behind the page. Don't forget about doing that. The edges of your page aren't like edges of a no man's land. Like you can carry stuff over to the back or carry stuff over to the outside of your page. Just work with how your album is, especially if you're the kind of scrapbooker that uses the 3-ring albums that hold a lot of space, hold a lot of, bulk. You can get away with a lot more. Top loading albums, you have to be a little bit more careful. Look at that. Look how that is. That looks great. It was so easy. So in that pocket, I'm planning little embellishments. You could put more pictures, whatever. There's more of the junk journal set there. Just cards. You could see the little, like, there's like recipe cards, library cards. I think the little, yeah, I really like that card there. I like that a lot. All those other cut up pieces you saw are from the extras to cut, and the flowers 18, I believe, that go along with this Warm Breeze collection. They're beautiful, just beautiful. And yes, you do have to fussy cut them out, which I know some people don't like, but it's really worth it. And, there's no rush. Once you have it, you have it. You can do a little bit here in front of the TV, a little bit there, keep them in a baggie. What I do is I have my little scissors and I keep them in a little baggie. And when I am waiting to pick up my kids from somewhere, that is when I do some cutting, because I have 2 sons, and one takes his time just a little bit more than the other. So yeah, good to have. So yeah, this is one of the, I don't know what to really call it, tab cards, and I'm using my corner rounder there to just, well, there's my paper trimmer that's the one I was telling you about earlier, that sometimes I'll just turn that upside down and lean it on something. And just my corner rounder on the card. And I'll do some journaling there on the back. That looks great right there. I just really like that it's not, that there's different colors there. And I like that I chose to choose the color of the card that isn't like a totally loud color compared to the background. I really almost wanted it to blend into the background a little bit. Now you might be wondering, I can hear some of you wondering, why would you glue those circles if you're just going to put that corner pocket over top? Well, I wasn't sure where I was going to put the corner pocket. And so when I'm working with layers in my mind, I just do it as a layer. And that's that. If it covers something up, that's just part of the layer, I guess. So I thought I would ink the edges of this tab card. So I'm using some Distress Oxide ink. This is frayed burlap. Because even though I chose a color that really blends in against the background, I did want to give it just a little bit of an edge. Yeah, that looks really good. Kind of the way I gave that pink square an edge by tearing it and folding it. That looks really good. Sometimes people do this same look by matting their photos or doing some matting, and that's a good look too. This is one of the embellishments from the junk journal extras. I call them like ticket cards. And I just wanted to fold it in an accordion fold just to give it more a look like it was from a hot air balloon ride. Because I knew once I folded it really hard like that it would just keep its shape, even if it kept its shape just a little bit. I thought about stapling it to that library card. That would have been fine. But then I found these, they're like paper clips for scrapbooking. I don't know where they came from. I mean, I know they came from my aunt. She gave me a bunch of her stuff that she was sort of done with, but I don't know where they came from. My stash is where they came from. Yeah, that's really cute. They come in different colors and the colors match the layout. So I like the way that looks. That looks good. And see, I could even put like more photos behind there if I wanted. You know, sometimes you have photos that go with the event, but that just don't go on the layout. That's another thing I was thinking about the pocket card. Now I decided I have to have that picture of me with my Grandma Judy there on the page. So I'm going to use my circle die to cut that out, which is going to go perfectly on the page. I was struggling with that wreath. I just didn't exactly know where I wanted it. What I'm trying to think is, I don't really think of like filling space when I'm trying to add to a layout. I'm trying to make balance, actually, probably more than anything else. So it's not like, oh, that needed something there, and that's why I thought about the wreath. It was more of how I was going to balance that out. But here comes the chipboard, the chipboard die cuts. I am so excited about those chipboard die cuts. I cannot even tell you. I'm just cropping this picture down just a little bit. That is going to look really good. It was here that I actually noticed that the picture of my Grandma Judy, her shirt completely and perfectly matches like the hot air balloons and the color palette on the page. I totally didn't even notice that until that minute right there when I laid it down. I thought that goes perfectly. How there's some green in that hot air balloon, like clear up at the top, and then her picture is going to go clear at the bottom there to just creating that balance. So I did decide to go with a white photo mat, which I needed to tear up the hot air balloon a little bit so I could fit it in there. But I did decide to go with a photo mat because, well, basically I think it looks good with the photo mat, but also because I'd like to be able to take some pictures. Since it's a design team project, I want to take some pictures of the layout without the photos in them. So I'm going to create a mat and then people will know like where the photo is supposed to go. I thought about doing one for the circle photo, but then I thought, no, I really just don't want a mat for that photo. So I don't have to. Yeah, that looks good. It looks really good. If you would have been on this day with my friends and with me, oh my goodness. We went a bunch of places and we had a lot of fun, and it was just a really fun day. It was nice to be with them. A few of the ladies tend to be a little loud, and we were in this restaurant where everyone was kind of subdued. It was funny. I'll never forget it. So I like how the colors are really just, it's funny because the colors in the paper are a little subdued, but they're also really bright. It just looks to me like June and July. And that's actually exactly when we went. I didn't even think about it, but that's exactly when we went. It was years ago. I guess not too many years ago, but it was years ago. Oh, I just love these cardboard die cuts. I love them so much. There's so many. I think I counted 36 or 37 in the pack there because some of them have doubles, like some of those frames have an inner, like an innie and an outie. I just wanted to use them all, but I had to show some restraint. I really liked the idea of having like one as kind of like a tab on the left, but I didn't want it to look too forced. So that's why I chose. Look at that tab. Look how it fits perfectly with the flowers going up and down right there next to the tab. So it's just something you kind of notice. You don't notice it right away, but it blends in and stands out. Sometimes I don't know how to explain myself, but I struggled with this butterfly. I was just determined to put a butterfly right there. And I just wasn't happy with the way that was looking. And I wanted a third butterfly because see how it's like the bottom, then the left, then I wanted one like sort of on the right somewhere. But it just looked funny to me. I want the butterfly more than anything else. I thought, that's it. I'm just cutting it. That's just all there is to it. So I just fussy cut that butterfly out. I probably had one already cut in that pile of extras to cut that you saw earlier with all those flowers and leaves and extras. There was probably a butterfly in there somewhere, but I just had this one. It was just the perfect size. It was exactly what I wanted. There. Now that is absolutely perfect to me. Perfect. I knew I was going to be able to put a little bit of like hot glue or something underneath that butterfly and then kind of bend up the wings. That's going to look good. So I'll glue down this little tab. That looks really good. It does look funny sort of without the picture and with the embellishments there, but you know, see, it looks like it needs something. Well, it does. It needs the pictures. Now, if you're sort of new to fussy cutting or if you don't do a lot of fussy cutting, I'm going to really highly recommend some detail scissors. I have used a few different kinds in the past. My absolute favorite kind are the 5-inch Tim Holtz scissors are made by Tonic. They are fabulous. It's a little bit of a serrated blade, just a little bit, and it gives you a really, really good cut. And I bought another kind a while back, and probably after cutting 2 or 3 collections, they were dull, and I was disappointed. But these are the Tim Holtz Tonic scissors are really good. I'll put some links in the description box so you can see where you can get these things if you're interested. This is where I think I was pondering over the butterfly issue. I just wanted one more. I didn't want just one cardboard cutout, and that one with the butterfly was just so perfect. I knew I wanted it up top, and there it is. There is the location. Yeah, that looks really good. Again, notice I'm not trying to fill every inch of space. It's not about filling space. I'm just trying to create more balance. It's going to look funny to me if I only have 2 butterflies like that. It just looks like it needs a third one. So here, speaking of embellishments and creating balance, here I'm going through some of these flowers that I have already cut. You could see there's more hot air balloons. There's quotes. Here's a big piece of foam I have in my drawer and a metal stylus. And I just lay the cut flower on the foam and just give it a little push with my stylus. And it makes the flower kind of like just sort of come up a little bit. It just makes it look a little bit more natural than just like a flat 2-dimensional flower. So yeah, and I also have to remember that in that empty space, quote unquote, there in the sort of on the lower right where there looks like a space, remember there's going to be a picture there. So you don't want to fill up every inch of empty space with something, or else it's just going to look like too much. As you can see from all the extras that I have there on the table, that is just one sheet of extras and one pack of the the junk journal set. One sheet of extras and then the junk journal set and then the flowers. Just one, not multiples, one cut up. That is plenty to create so many layouts, cards. I mean, just so much. You could do so much with just one. I use my hot glue gun a lot. I know some people are kind of anti hot glue gun on their scrapbook pages. I was that person also for a very long time. And I'll tell you why we were like that. Because, and you might still be like that, because when you are using original photos, absolutely 100%, you should not have hot glue anywhere on that page. Go strictly archival with original photos. But nowadays, you can get digital reprints, and it's not as much about, for me, about being so careful to not damage a photo, that if something happens, I could just go to the cloud and get another reprint. But again, everybody kind of scrapbooks their own way. And as words to the wise, I would not do that if it wasn't like an original photo, a family legacy type photo. I would never do that. It's fun to do for card making, though, to use your hot glue gun, because it gives a little bit of dimension, and you don't need to mess with like foam or the cardboard or whatever. Just a little bit of hot glue gives that little bit of lift. You'll see close up. I'll show you kind of how it looks there on the bottom corner. The way that I added the flowers, you'll see how it just kind of lifts them just a little bit off the page. So as a final thought, I'm putting some frayed burlap distress oxide ink around the outside edge of the layout. You can't see it too well against my table surface with my craft mat there, but in an album or against a white background, you'll be able to see just fine. Actually, I'll show some close-up photos at the end of the video, and you'll see what I mean. That looks so good. It looks so good. I think in my original inspiration, I was thinking about putting the pocket on the other side, the right lower side of the page. But when I got there, I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to do the left lower instead of the right lower. That looks great. That looks great. I really like those ticket cards. It's so fun. Look at that. Now, it needed one more thing, just one. And I had a quote from another project or some leftover quotes from a notebook project I had made. And Begin an Adventure is the one I so wanted to use. That is perfect right there. Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh, I'm just roughing up the edges with my scissors, just around the outside, just a little bit. I hope you've kind of enjoyed this journey, seeing how I went from totally being inspired just from the paper and then actually making the layout. I hope this inspires you to do the same. Go back through your stash of paper that you have. Even you paper hoarders out there, I know we're in the club of paper hoarders, I know, but pick out a little bit, go back through, get inspired, and make something. Turn on the camera if you want and record your thoughts. It's really, really neat. You're probably a lot more creative than you give yourself credit for. So here's a final look at the layout, how it looks finished, and a few close-ups. Be sure to check out Sandpaper Road on social media. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you subscribe to the channel. It's free. And check out the description box for links below where you can pick up these products. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.